This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the perfect place to build your business and build an online presence. Hello sports fans and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a bright and early morning with a brand new, I think pretty much an exclusive car for the YouTubing world here in the UK. I'm here with the brand new VW ID.3. Now, first look, this might not seem anything radical, and perhaps it's not quite as exciting and ball grabbing as the usual kind of Lambos and nonsense that I put on this channel. However, this is an extremely important car, and one that I want to get to grips with, because as a previous Golf fan and a current Golf fan, I want to know how good this car is, and is it capable of converting the mainstream Golf buyer into buying an electric car. That is VW's aim. This is their first proper foray into the electric car world, and this is the car they want to change people's mind on electric cars and get them into the EV state of mind, should we say. So we're going to have a little look around it, we're going to talk about it, because this is actually a first edition, it's a limited edition version, and there's only going to be a few of these in the UK, and there's various different variants, and there's also some potentially exciting news for hot hatch fans with the ID.3. So we're going to look around it now. Here we go then, the ID.3 first edition. Now you'll notice obviously that it is a four-door car. This is aimed squarely at the sort of buyer that would otherwise buy a Golf. It is offered in various different variants. This being the first edition, it has got a 58k battery, meaning the range is about 260 miles. You can also option it with a 45k battery, meaning the range is about 200 miles, and you can also option it with a range topping 78k battery, meaning the range is about 340 odd miles. Now this particular variant, being the 58k battery, is a 201 brake horsepower and 184 pounds-foot of torque. That is more than a Mark 5 Golf GTI. Now you'll know that this is the first edition because it's got various snazzy bits all over it. It's got these wheels, it comes in this garish colour. You've got this kind of livery on it, if you like. You've got silver mirrors, you've got denotation on the side there, these cool alloy wheels. And what VW have done for their ID range, and I don't know if this is going to carry on through the kind of the lesser variants and the different variants, but you've got black and white badges now, which does look really, really cool. Really subtle, but like quite a classy, cool distinction for the electric cars. It's packed with clever tech, like these lights, they're called IQ light. There's loads of tech in there if you're boring and you want to go and look at what that does. Other exterior design points to note, you'll notice that like a lot of other EVs, because there's no engine to support, the overhang at both ends of the car are very, very short. This results in something very nimble around town, and there's some clever kind of self-steering stuff inside which adds to the mobility of this car. All in all then, the exterior is not something that's going to scare away Golf customers, and that continues inside. So jumping in then, you'll see that it's gone very i3S. You've got the same screen in the middle there as the i3S has, located there as well, and you've also got a little digital dash here in the middle, giving you kind of driving data, where you are battery wise and all the rest of it. One curious thing about this car, as soon as you get in here, you don't need to turn it on. You just sit down, close the door, and then you use this little stalk here, and once your foot's on the brake, it'll just go into drive, and then you can start driving. There is no on-off button. There is no parking brake either. You've literally just got this button on the end of the stalk here. That is your parking brake. There is no other button, not under here, nowhere. All in all, in here though, is a very good news story. Golf customers are not going to hate it in here. There are literally no buttons. About as buttony as it gets are the wing mirror adjusters, and they are more complicated than sending a rocket to the moon, but you'll live with those after a while. You've got this LED lighting here, which doesn't just look pretty, but it actually communicates with you when you're when there's like brake intervention, with the sat nav, when you talk to it via the very clever voice control that you've got in the ID.3 as well. There is lots of clever tech in here packed in, but not that you would know it. It's very sparse button wise, but everything on here just works really, really good. People have criticized VW for not getting into the EV market soon enough possibly, but they've really covered every base with this car. They've not barged in with an early car and kind of fluffed it. You've also got detailing on here, signifying that this is the first edition, so your passengers know you are first of the game with it. Again, it's very i3S in here. The seats are made of this kind of sustainable looking stuff, and I'm sure they are. I haven't seen what they're actually made of. I can't find it anywhere. But this kind of very nice fabric material here. This kind of abrasive stuff in the middle, a little bit of kind of faux leather in there. We don't have a sunroof. Presumably that'll be an option at some point. But all in all, this is a very cool place to be. So you've got online mode and offline mode here. So you've got all sorts of things in here. You can pretty much adjust everything in here, but it is banging. Everything, all the interface in here, etc. It's unbelievable. You can literally change everything. Everything's on here. It's mental. It's mental. VW, well done. And it's also worth noting this car is on a completely new platform for electric vehicles from the VAG group. There isn't a car out yet that is on this platform. So forget the e-tron or anything like this. This is an all new, improved platform, which should mean it drives very well. Saying that, let's put my seatbelt on then. Let's go for a drive. All right, here we go then. Chuck in reverse. For once, me reviewing a car around town is actually fully accurate. There is nowhere else you're probably going to use this car other than around town. So for once, I'm actually almost doing a solid journalistic job here. Very good, sir. Alright, off we go then. Performance-wise, I'm going to knock that on the head as we get going. 0 to 60 in this thing is 7.3 seconds claimed, and top speed is 99 miles per hour. Not blistering, but also not a complete slouch. Now around town, it's that kind of 0 to 30 that really makes the difference, and I suspect that 0 to 30 time is probably quite a bit quicker than most performance cars. This car is rear-wheel drive, not that you would really notice it pootling around at high speeds, and not that I'm sure you could even probably get it to unstick going around a corner. But then buyers of this car are not going to want to unstick the tyres going around corners anyway. Basic impressions then, road noise, absolutely fine. And road noise is the thing that a lot of EVs get stick for, because there is no hiding every single noise that goes on. It is completely silent, bar a little whir. So road noise is something that EVs do get stick on, but no such complaints in this. Feels very pleasant. This bit of road here is appalling. It's lapping it up. It is very, very Golf-like. Very, very Golf-like. And that is not a bad thing at all. The Golf is an icon, and for this thing to be anywhere near it is a very good thing. And indeed, VW needs this car to be as good as the Golf. This car is as important to VW as the Golf has been to them going forward. This is as important to their success for them as the Golf. If you believe that electric cars are actually going to be the future, there's a lot of people whining about kind of disposing of batteries and all that kind of jibber jabber. If you want the basic version of this, the 45k battery, 0 to 60 is about 10 seconds. And then there is good news for hot hatch fans, as there is a rumoured ID.3R coming down the line. There is likely to be a spicy variant of this, labelled by their R division. So that's very exciting. And I think at that point we will start to see something that will rival the silly Teslas in terms of performance. There is also an ID.4 variant coming, which is going to be a raised ride height version of this, akin to something like a Q5, mini kind of SUV type vibe. That is going to be dual motored as well. You can have a dual motor option in that. We all think this is single motor for now, but the ID.3R may well be dual motor, and in time, who knows, they might put a triple motor in it, as Tesla are starting to do with their plaid mode, or plaid mode as I called it in my order video, which is coming for me in 2021. So there's lots of scope for VW to develop this car into something slightly more exciting. Handling wise, it's good. Absolutely no gripes at all. It's very hard to review this car properly when you're coming out numerous really kind of exciting supercars, sports cars and all the rest of it. But actually cars like this are harder to get right. You have to get the basics, the things that people gripe about every single day. You have to get them all right, and that's extremely difficult. Supercars, to be honest with you, you can get all the interface wrong, you can get reliability wrong, you can get pretty much everything wrong with them, but as long as they look good, sound good, and they go around a corner, no one's going to care about the rest of it. This has to do the boring stuff really, really well, otherwise people just won't buy it. It has to look okay, which they managed. I think it looks good, but without scaring people away. It drives well. It's usable. The range is more than enough. I mean, 260 odd miles. People are going to gripe that that's not enough, but God, it's awful around here. I don't know why I ever come out here. But you can obviously spec this with a battery that will give you up to 340 miles of range. Price, which a lot of you are going to be asking around, price is £38,500 for this first edition with a 58k battery. And then if you take into account the £3,000 government grant, it's about 35 grand, which is a little bit more than a Golf R, maybe. So it's slightly more expensive on the front end, but given the fact that you can claim these against tax through your company and the fact that you're literally just going to be using a little bit of electricity to fill it up, long-term ownership is probably going to cost you a little bit less. Residual wise, who knows what these are going to do. I think they should be okay-ish. They're not going to be any worse than any other car out there. VWs of old, they don't do that badly, so I wouldn't panic too much about that. But all in all, it's a good news story. I'm really impressed by this car. And if you want a daily kind of run around, ferry the kids around in, it's good. It's very hard to argue with this. Now then, going back to Squarespace, ladies and gentlemen, you may be aware that I recently launched another online business with its own website. With Squarespace, I'm now using a load of their tools to my own personal advantage. And I'm going to run through a few of those cool features right now. First off the bat then is my storage business. You'll already know about that. I've covered it in previous videos. We're not going to go into that now. But the first feature, you can actually blog and update your audience with what is going on. As these units start going to supercar collection storage units and people start putting them up and posting their cars underneath them, we can actually update lifetime and post using Squarespace's cool features on that. And me being a busy bee, you can actually schedule and draft posts and to go out whenever suits you best and whenever suits the website best. So I can actually make content in the early hours of the morning like this, and then it can go out at any time on the website. Very, very cool. Another thing you can do as well is analyze traffic. You can see where the traffic's coming from, you can see the time of day it's coming in, you can assess bounce rate and all sorts of things. You can really drill into the data and see what your customers are converting with and what they're not. Another biggie then is email campaigns as well. You can fully manage an email campaign with Squarespace itself, and an all-in-one solution to build your website and market it. So then head to Squarespace right now to get a free trial, and when you're ready to go, you get an exclusive discount with the exclusive link below when you're ready to start. All very cool and available for a limited time, so get involved. The details are below, and get in the mix and keep me posted with your online success. I would challenge you to find anything actually saliently wrong with this car. There isn't. Apart from the spec, maybe. The spec's a bit Marmite. It's not for everyone, I don't think. I don't think everyone wants kind of ice cream blue, whatever it is. It's a little bit kind of garish, but I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a nice EV vibe, but without kind of looking like both ends has been smashed into. It doesn't look like you're virtue signaling. I just think it's a cool vibe, and that's what VW does very well with their cars. They make cool cars that you can use, not stress around, and people don't hate you when you drive them. Nobody hates Golf drivers. And I don't think people are going to hate you in this either. It's very, very good. It's an extremely well executed first attempt from VW. And if this is the future, then I'm down with that. That's absolutely fine. Would this replace any of my supercars? Obviously not. Would this ever make an appearance in my garage as kind of a TG runaround? I'm not sure. I think it's a bit too sensible for me, even for a runaround. I think it's just for, you know, that kind of category of people that just need a car to go from A to B. It's very much a tool, and don't get me wrong, it is enjoyable to drive, but there are obviously more enjoyable things out there to drive, and that's not why you'd buy this car. But I have zero negative things to say about this, which is a first, because usually I have a problem with most things. The only thing you could possibly gripe on it is if you love buttons, you're not going to like this car because there aren't that many buttons. But that's it. And also I like a sunroof, and this one doesn't have it. I'm sure you can spec that. I'm really clutching at straws though at the moment. The usual gripes with EVs obviously apply to this, whether or not the UK is ready for electric cars, whether or not it's a complete pain having an electric car, charging it, doing long journeys and blah, blah, blah. But as a town car, this is absolutely fine. And if you've got a charger anywhere that you use on a regular basis, then you're going to be absolutely fine with this. Charging technology is coming on so fast. I think a lot of those gripes are going to be wiped out within the next 6 months to a year. So yeah, on that uncharacteristically enthusiastic and positive note, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little kind of literal run around in the brand new VW ID.3. I very much enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing what VW do with this platform, what they do with the ID range, particularly the ID.3R and the ID.4, and maybe an ID.4R. Who knows? I'm probably annoying people at VW now by pontificating that they're going to do R versions of all these things when they might not actually be. But I hope they do. And I think the ID.R that went up the Pikes Peak climb and has done various lap records has shown everyone how exciting electric cars can actually be. Albeit this one not at the exciting end, this goes to show what can be done. And you can build a very well-made, solid, usable electric car that doesn't annoy people and doesn't look like hell. Well done, VW. On that note, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Ciao.